5 fastest way to double your commercial real estate business. Now, I'm going to start and give you the most obvious one, okay? But just as a show of hands, right? Do me a favor, everybody, and let me know how many of you are working as hard as you possibly can. Type in the chat how many hours a week you're working, right? How many hours a week are y'all working? Is it 30? Is it 35? Is it 40? Is it 50? Is it 60, right? Go ahead and type in the chat. Well, what does that look like for you folks? Okay. Janet's working 30. Okay, let's see who else. Mark's working 30. Okay, good guys, good. Solid. Anybody working 40? Anybody working 50, right? Because most of you probably don't want to be working double the amount of time, right? So like if you want to go, let's say from, I don't know, from 120,000 this year to 240, I'm willing to bet that everybody, if they're making 120K, would like to go to 240K, right? Obvious, who wouldn't want double the amount of money? But most people are not trying to work double the hours. Is that right, guys? Type the word double in the chat if you're like, you're not trying to work double the hours. Maybe, as the old saying goes, you want to work smarter and not harder, right? Okay, Diana's with me, Janet's with me. Okay, guys, use this big old thing you got on top of your head, right? Use the brain. It's not just a hat rack, okay? We're trying to, with the same amount of hours, work more efficiently, more effectively, and make more money in less effort. Is that you guys with me? Yep. Tim wants to go from 225 to 500. Heck yeah. Tim, the most effective way of doing that is not by doubling. Most people want to spend more time with their families, more time with their kids, more time doing the things that they love, not doing the things they have to do to make money necessarily. Okay. So as a result, right? Another thing you can do, guys, okay? And it's so simple, but I say this over and over and over again, folks. This business is simple. It's not easy. It's not easy to get up every single day. And it's not sexy. It's not fun to go to bed at the same time every night. But you know what's really awesome? When the end of the year comes and it's Q4 and you crushed it and you can relax with your family on a holiday and you've had one of your record years. Guys, there's no feeling like it when you absolutely just crushed your year, because you sit back at the end of the year and looking back on the last 4 quarters, and you know you left it all out on the field, so to speak. Okay, so one of the things you can do now here's the thing. Here, let me tell you why this is super effective, right? What we teach, we don't teach you to dial the phone for 6 or 8 hours a day. That's crazy, man. We're not trying to raise telemarketers here. What we are trying to get you to do is do more of the things that make the most impact, right? Like, you can push on a pull door all day long. And guess what? You might push through it, but wouldn't it be a whole lot easier to pull it? You with me, guys? So the way that you can increase your output, yeah, you pushing on the pull door is like doubling your hours work. Like, yeah, you can do it. It's really hard, but it's not the most effective way of getting the most thing you want out of your business. The first fastest way is to double your dials. If you're making 30 dials a day, make 60 every single day, 5 days a week. You don't have to work Saturdays and Sundays, okay? But the fastest way to make more money is to double your dials. Now, most people don't like to do that, right? So I'm going to give you 4 other ways of doing it. And then we're going to decide which is going to work the best for you. Okay. Sound like a plan, folks? All right. So let's put DD, double your dials. Type DD in the chat if you're with me. How many of you there are willing to say, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose to double my dials. Type DD. Okay. Who wants to be that? Because if you go from 30 dials a day to 60 dials a day, guess what? You're going to get twice as many meetings. You're going to get twice as good at your listing presentation. You're going to get twice as many listings, and you're going to make twice as much money. Does that make sense, folks? How many of you want to make twice as much money, right? Everyone says they do, but not everyone's willing to do the things necessary. Okay. So Diana's with me, Misha's with me, Melissa's with me. That's it, guys. It's literally that simple. But you know what? If that one might be like you want to increase your dials by a little bit, let's talk. We got some other options for you. Okay. The next one up is double your connects. Okay. Now, you know who you are, and I'm about to explain a certain agent. Certain agents say, well, I asked them, like, what's your current process look like for prospecting and stuff? Well, I look up a number, and then I go online and I Google that person, and I call that number. Okay, that's one way of doing it. But, has Google ever been inaccurate? Yeah, absolutely. Has Google ever given you, false information, right? Has anyone ever put anything false right up there? The other thing is the fastest way for you guys to get better at your meetings, or to get more meetings, is to double your connects, right? I can't tell you how many people wish and hope for, a better business, but they don't invest in the tools necessary, right? One of the most important tools at what we call the top of the funnel is making sure you have good data. Most people are like, oh no, I use the free resources that my office gives me. And that's cool and all. But at the end of the day, guys, if you're not doubling your connects, you're leaving money on the table. So many people don't want to spend $1 a record, right? So that you can get in touch with a whole lot more people. Guys, just do me a favor. Just one sale in your city and state. Tell me what that's worth, okay? Everybody, do me a favor. Just throw out a number here. Throw out a number what a sale in your state is worth. In my state, okay, state of Florida, 1.9 million. We're talking $57,000, okay? Janet says 70K. Lydia says 1.9. Oh, Lydia, she's down here in South Florida with me. Melissa says 2 mil. Guys, okay? Doesn't it stand to reason that you need to have the best data possible? Because what's the number one most expensive resource, the non-recurring resource? It's a 4-letter word that we all have and none of us ever have enough of. What is it? Begins with a T. Time, guys. We never have enough time. Okay. Now here's the thing, folks. You can dial the wrong number 1,000 times, and guess what? You're still never going to get through to the owner. So doesn't it stand to reason that you need to safeguard your time, your most expensive resource, by getting the right contacts, so that hour to an hour and a half you spend a day dialing, you are using your time most effectively. Does that make sense, folks? Guys, if that makes sense, give me a little thumbs up in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat, right? Thumbs up if you're on Facebook, 1 in the chat. Yeah, Gio's with me. What's up, Gio? Good to see you, buddy. So that's the thing, folks. You got to really understand, you got to safeguard your time. And the fastest way to do that is getting the best data. Don't worry if it costs you $1 a record. You research 100 people. There are tens and tens of thousands of dollars in there that you could possibly be making out of $100 investment. Don't chintz out on that, folks. I promise you. Okay. Next up, okay, you can double your appointments, right? So one thing you can buy, this you can't. In order to double your appointments, that means you have to be able to reach out to a stranger, talk to them, and then talk them into having a meeting at a certain place at a certain time, right? And what do you think is the fastest way of doing that? It's an S word that but there's a certain portion of the population that says, no, I don't like this. I don't like scripts, right? But guess what, folks? Okay. Does anyone remember, ask not what your country can do for you, right? Anyone remember, I have a dream? Okay. Guess what, folks? Those were scripts. Okay. Does anyone remember 7 years ago? Does anyone remember, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse? Right? These were all scripts, guys, and they have burned they've burned like their way into the pages of history. Okay. Some of our favorite songs, right? Our favorite movies, they all came from words on a paper. So it's not, the script isn't the evil thing. Bad scripts, right? The guy that's like, obviously he's like calling you from some foreign country and he's like, hello, I'd like to talk to you about your vehicle's warranty. Those are bad scripts, folks. Okay. Good scripts get you to double your appointments. Good scripts get you more listings. And guess what more listings equals? More money. Think about it. If you could double your appointments, doesn't it make sense that you'd be able to double your listings? And doesn't it make sense that you'd be able to double your sales, which would then double your income? You guys with me? It's a process. It's a formula. You know, if you're making more dials, you're going to get more appointments. If you're getting more appointments, you're going to get more listings. You're getting more listings, you're going to make more money. That's the end of the game, guys. Okay. But these are all ways that you can just 5 different ways. And I'm probably, if I get enough a thumbs up here, I might just share a 6th way, right? But the next way to do it, guys, is double your appointments. Next one up is double your listings. Can anybody tell me what you need to have rock solid so that you can increase your chance of taking listings. It begins with a P. Can anybody tell me? It's when you get in front of an owner, right? What's going to help you double your listings? By having a good presentation, right? When you have a listing presentation that puts the person at ease, that reveals their motivation for selling, that you are expressing your professionalism and your understanding of the market, right? And more importantly, that you have done this before and you are the trusted authority, okay? If you can have all these things and you're able to show data where the property needs to sell at and for how much time, right? Do you think that's going to help you by having a good, solid, methodical listing presentation, right? There's a reason why we say our alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because that's the way it's done. In order to take listings on an ongoing basis, you need to have a very straightforward listing presentation. It's very, very important. Love it. Gio, following the path. Gio just said he's working on this brag pack. The brag pack is what you send so that you pre-sell yourself to somebody when you're on your way to the listing presentation. Instead of just showing up and you're like, hi, I'm a stranger. Yeah, I was that dude that called you. It's like, oh, they get to see you. They get to see a nice headshot of you. They get to understand what you have done. They can understand what your company has done. They can see your listing portfolio, or if you don't have a lot of listings, your company's listing portfolio or sales volume, right? These are important things, guys. It's called persuasion. When you persuade, it means you persuade them beforehand, right? Here's a cool example of persuasion. They asked people like 5 questions, right? They did a sample of like 500 people and they asked them 5 questions. And 21% of the time, after asking those 5 questions, they got people to say yes. Okay. Now, they did the exact same experiment, but right before they added one other question. They asked the person, are you adventurous? Right? No, I'm not recommending that you go to sellers and say, are you adventurous? All right. That's not the point. But I'm trying to prove the point of how persuasion works. Right? So they got a 21% compliance rate with persuasion just by asking one question. Because what did they do? They set it up in the person's mind, and that by the time they asked those 5 questions, it went from 21%. And when they added the question, "Are you adventurous?" it went to over 70% of compliance. So the point is, folks, by making a small shift in your process, before you show up there, you can drastically increase your chances of compliance, in this case, in the form of getting a listing signed. Okay, so that's the point, guys. The psychological concept we're talking about is persuasion. So when you send your brag pack, so after you set your listing appointment, you send your packet of information, which we have templates for, that we show you exactly how to pre-sell yourself. That's one of the ways to double your listings. That's one of the components of doubling your listings. The other part is to have a step-by-step planned, what I call a proper commercial listing presentation. You're not there to just have a conversation. You're there to have a presentation in a conversational format, okay? In a conversational tone. That makes sense. So, like I said, guys, the bonus here, right? And it might seem super duper obvious, is if you want to learn how to double your income in the next 12 months, take better listings. Can anybody take, as a show of hands, guys, someone take a guess what it might mean to take better listings? What do you think that means, guys? What about you, Diana, Mark, Gio? What do you guys think? What do you think that looks like? Taking better listings, right? This is important. Okay. Mark says better commission. Good. Okay. Heck yeah. I like that. Yep. Seller ready to sell. Ooh, I like that. Todd. Yep. Motivated sellers. Heck yeah. Okay. Good. Yep. What is something? Melissa's a higher price point. Good. Yes. You always want to be backfilling your pipeline with better follow up. Yep. We're missing one thing, guys. We're missing one thing. What is the one thing that's going to change everything? That if you lowered, it increases your chances of selling something. What's it? It begins with a P, right? Can anybody tell me? Right? What is that one thing? Okay. Getting it at the right price. Way to go, Janet. Heck yeah. Janet's one of my students. Gio's one of my students. Hey, here we go. And then my students are finally starting to come through. Yes, pricing, guys. When you can not only price a property properly, and you know that the market's going to respond to it, but if you can also be able to display that or articulate that to the seller and then bring it to the market at a price that it'll actually sell for, it makes a huge difference, folks. Very, very big difference. So the fastest way to take better listings is to take listings at the price that the market will actually respond to. What I always show, and this is a little bit behind the curtain, right? So I always show sellers like why, not just where their property needs to be, but before I even tell them where the price it needs to be, I show them the relationship of people coming into the market super high and then waiting, and then finally downsizing it, lowering the price to where the market will respond to. I show them that relationship. And once people understand, oh, if you overprice by 40%, it takes 9.5 months to sell your property. So what do you think would happen if you didn't overprice it by 40%? You brought it in maybe 10%. So you don't leave any money on the table. What do you think? You let them understand the relationship of bringing it in too high and the fact that it takes longer to sell. Okay. Very, very important, folks. Okay. So as a review, we have number one, you can work double the hours if you want to. Most people don't want to. Number two, you can get better contacts, make more contacts, which means you can have better information. Number three, okay, you can take more meetings and book more meetings, which means you have better scripts. Number four, you can go through and you can take more listings, which means you are going to have a listing presentation that you know works over and over and over again. And then number six is going to be take better listings that are better priced, better quality, because not all listings are the same. You know, they're not all created equal. Does that make sense, folks? Yeah, you with me? Okay, cool. Guys, those of you there, okay, that are interested in doubling your money, for like, if you want to learn, not only just, we're giving you like the what to do. If you want to learn how to do it in our 6-month coaching program, type #double in the meeting chat. If you guys really want to understand this stuff, we have broken this down. We have it down to a science, folks, okay? But it isn't until you crack the code, right? Check this out, folks. Look at this. Does anybody remember these? Remember these from high school? Okay. I bring up this analogy all the time because it makes a ton of sense, right? So my locker combination, I'll never forget it. It was 24 to the right, 36 to the left, 9 to the right, and it pops open every time, okay? So how many of you, right, would at the end of the day, if you missed one of these numbers, what would happen if you got 36 to the right, 24 to the left, and you got the last number wrong? Is it ever going to open? No, right? The same goes for commercial brokerage, okay? Very, very important. So what I want you guys to understand is you need to understand you have to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time. That is the magic to getting, in this case, to getting your locker to pop open. And that's also the magic behind taking listings, okay? You miss any one of those things and you will be, you're gonna come up short, okay? So again, folks, well, the way we do it, the way we break this method down is we teach you how to prospect. What does that look like? We teach you what to say, how to say it, and to whom to say it, right? So that's the right message to the right person at the right time, okay? We show you how to get the meetings step by step in between the meetings. We show you how to prep for the listing presentation. And then finally, when you get to the listing presentation, we show you how to get the listing. And then the best part is when you bring it to the market, how to get both sides of the commission. How many of you would rather earn twice? Try 2x if you've ever wanted to get both sides of the deal, right? Missy says, how do you get around horrible net income sheets? When you understand financing, Missy, like in terms of underwriting and stuff like that, it becomes really, really simple, right? Money comes in, money goes out. What's left over is your NOI, or net operating income. But that's stuff that we show you. If you're not comfortable with that, you're in the right room, okay? So very, very important, all right? So Michael B says, so I handle financing for the purchases or refinancing, but I'm curious to learn more on this end, how to double. Exactly, guys. Just remember, folks, in commercial, right? There's a whole lot, you get a whole lot of repeat business. So we show you how to target the people that are what I call the usual suspects. We show you how to build databases around the usual suspects, because a lot of people, if you put the right thing in front of them, like just out of curiosity, folks, the example I always use is like, who likes to buy women's red shoes, or let's say women's Chanel bags? Here's a perfect example. Okay, if you're going to advertise to someone and you want to sell women's Chanel bags, ladies, all right, who would you advertise it to? Would you advertise it to 80-year-old guys? No. Would you advertise it to 16-year-old boys? No. Or would you advertise it to ladies that already own Chanel bags? Right? Wouldn't that make some sense, right? So we do the same thing. We build databases around the what I call the usual suspect, the most likely person to buy this. Okay, and in this case, it would be the Chanel bags, right? So, guys, as I say every single week, thank you for being here and working not just in your business, but on your business.